Alright, so April Justin, she's done it again. Alright, so if you recall a few years ago, Landon Collins, he was number one cornerback in high school about 2 years ago, and he went on the ESPN. They were having an interview because he was making his decision in high school he's going to, and he announced that he wanted to go to Alabama, and his mom and her ratchet attitude showed disapproval. But we're not even gonna get into that yet. I wanted to revisit that story a couple times because I watched a lot of people do videos on it, and there was a lot of misinformation, and even in reading the articles, even though the articles said specific things, people still were missing the fact that those things were there. So I wanted to do the story anyways a while ago and revisit it just to give her props where she did need props and to roast her like everybody else when she needed to be roasted. But she's back at it again, and she does the same thing again. Her sons pick a school that she doesn't want them to go to, and she publicly shows her disapproval on the camera for the world to see. You would think that she would learn a lesson after doing it the first time. But my issue too is that I posted this in a Facebook post where you just post questions anonymously, and you have people respond. And the responses, I'm surprised. It's like amazing how when the men have like a valid gripe or issue, how easily it gets demoted to it's not that big of a deal. It becomes so oversimplified in their response, and that's what surprises me. There's no way in hell a father would publicly get up in a national light and tell his daughter on camera that her decision was wrong and he didn't like her decision. The outrage that would come with that. So that's the thing that bothers me is like, damn well if a father did that to his daughter, you would feel some type of way. Most of the women who comment, like I said, half of the men were saying, it was disrespectful, it was ratchet behavior, she shouldn't have did it on camera, blah blah blah. Pretty much all the women were saying it's not a big deal. Start deflecting, talking about she raised two boys, even though the first time Landon Collins left her to go live with his father, they don't even know the whole story. But they're all hyping on the whole, she's a woman. Oh, I understand why she did it, blah, blah, blah. But let a father have done the same thing. But first we're going to play this clip of her doing it again, and then we can go back and re-examine the story of what happened the first time with Landon Collins.
We're all eagerly awaiting this. The third-ranked defensive tackle, 29th-ranked player in the class out of New Orleans. And I know your brother, Landon Collins, a couple years ago went ahead and committed to Alabama. Now, your finalists are LSU and Florida. First off, what's the process been like for you, whittling it down to these two?
It's been rough, It's been a tough process, but I finally made my decision.
And April, Justin, I know you're the mom here. I know a lot of folks remember you well from a couple years ago. What has this been like for you going through this all again?
Oh, it's been a wonderful feeling again, but I'm glad it's almost over with. Yeah.
All right, with that, we are ready to go here. LSU or Florida for Gerald Willis III. Where will you play your college ball?
I would take my talent to Gainesville, Florida. Florida Gibbs.
Gerald Willis III going to the opposite division in the SEC from his brother Landon. He's got the gloves on, ready to go. Your take on this decision, ma'am?
It is what it is. Florida Gators, that's where we'll be.
Any easier this time?
Yeah, but LSU's still number one.
And there you have it. Gerald Willis III going to the University of Florida. So a big get there for Will Muschamp. That defense, which is obviously a very, very good part of that Florida football team.
All right, so here's the first situation. The first time it happened, just to recap real quick again, you have Landon Collins, number one cornerback in high school, rather. And he's making his decision on what school he wants to go to, and he makes the decision that his mom doesn't approve of, and her and her ratchet attitude response and show disapproval. But before we get into that, I want you to think about this after you watch the video. So Landon's girlfriend is behind him with the gray, Becky. She's happy, she responds, she claps. On the left of the mom, there is another woman who I didn't know who it was at first, but after doing some research, I found out that was his stepmom. The stepmom gives up and gives him a hug. Landon's girlfriend claps and she's happy. Landon's father, which is one of the amazing reasons why I wanted to revisit the story and do a video, was there, and he was in Landon's life, even though every article I read in the comment section, people were like, well, I bet you didn't have a father in his life. even though in the interviews and the articles they interviewed his dad should have said that that was his day and he was letting him have his shine, which is something that I noticed that females don't know how to do. They can't let their son just have their shine in their 15 minutes of fame without being involved in it somehow. Talk about that in a different video. But Landon's father walks across the stage, after the clip is over, and he gives his son a hug. Think about that. Stepmom hug, dad hug, girlfriend claps. Mom puts her head down, shakes it, and shouts out the other school. And you don't see anything wrong with that picture. Alright.
Safety
Let's
nationally
continue.
in the ESPN 150. Who are our two combatants in the national championship game? And are those your two? We know LSU and Alabama. Those are your two, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can tell you this, through the world of social networking, your announcement is so highly anticipated, it's unbelievable. First off, how difficult was the decision?
Very difficult. Both teams are just top-notch to me, and I feel at home at both schools.
Now, you are literally from Geismar, Louisiana. Let's see if that plays into things here. LSU.
I'm from New Orleans.
You're from New Orleans. Okay, we'll give you New Orleans. But that's still LSU country. I know that. LSU or Alabama, the #1 safety in the country, Landon Collins, will play his ball where?
It's a tough decision. I got both schools here, but I'm going to go with Roll Tide Roll.
Ooh, Alabama gets the #1 safety in the country, Landon Collins. What was it about Alabama?
It's just a bigger decision for me, and I felt home more. And I just love the coaches and the coaching staff and the players that I'm going to be playing with.
Now, might I ask you your reaction? And I'm only doing that because there was not a lot of joy here. Can I ask why?
I feel this LSU is a better place for him to be. LSU Tigers, #1. Go Tigers.
You're making some friends. You're making some friends here at the Trop. No question about it. Alabama, it is. What do you think the hometown, the LSU fans are going to think? We know what one thinks.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I guess it still support me, I guess.
There you go. Landon Collins out of New Orleans. Rolling Tide to Alabama. Guys, I don't need to tell you, this is a big one.
Wow. Well, this is a big one for multiple reasons. One, he's a phenomenal player, but two, it looks like he's going against the wishes of his family here.
What I always say in recruiting, who do you got to identify? The decision maker. So right now, if you're on the coaching staff at LSU, you've got somebody to pinpoint. But if you're Landon Collins, obviously you've thought long and hard about this decision, and it's not been an easy one. #1 and #2 in the land playing against each other on Monday. Wealth of opportunities for him. He chose the Alabama Crimson Tide.
All right, so the reason why I wanted to visit the story is because if you look in the picture, you can't see, but way to the right, you see like the gray shirt, and that's Landon's dad, but he's out of the camera because he's letting his son have his shine, let him do his thing. But that's one of the main reasons I wanted to redo this video a long time ago, because every article I read, man, it would say in the piece from ESPN, they interviewed his father. His father's the one that told him, you need to make your own decision, because if you don't like the school and you go to your mom wants you to go to, you're going to blame her. So we don't shift out our responsibility to other people, so we take accountability for our own actions. So he told his son to make his own decision. And that's one of the major reasons why I wanted to revisit the story, because his father was in his life. Basically, after New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina, where Landon was living at, I guess like their football program was messed up. Half the kids left New Orleans and moved to like Texas. Some moved to Cali, so his school didn't have enough competition. So I guess in 2007 he went to go visit his dad on a weekend or whatever, and he drove by some school. I guess it's like a real big school outside of Louisiana. I guess it's the Friday Night Light situation, and he saw that, and he said instantly he fell in love with that whole scenario, and he wanted to go live with his dad. And he's like, we gotta ask your mom. So, and that's my first thing. A lot of people, when this first aired, went in on the mom, and I'm gonna go in on it too, but I will give her mom credit for one thing. I will give her credit for the fact that this was something that he wanted. This was an opportunity for him to be with his father. It was I think his beginning of his end of his freshman year, beginning of his sophomore year, to go to like that summer, the beginning of his sophomore year, he had the opportunity to go play at a school he wanted to play for. Again, the school he was at, half the kids were gone. People didn't take football serious. Where he wanted to go, it was like, football down south is way different than up north. It's like that's their thing. Their games, their high school games look like college games. And that's the atmosphere he wanted to be in. So I will give Miss April Justin credit for the fact that she let her son go live with his father, like off the bat. She does a lot of stupid stuff after that, but I give her credit for making that decision, because a lot of women would have been shady and would have been like, nah, I'm not letting my baby go, even if it was in his best interest to go be with his father.
You wanted him, you got him.
Why are you trying to make this so easy?
Well, it's like you told me. I can't teach him how to be a man. That's your job.
Alrighty, so I'm about to play the next clip of Landon actually doing his interview with the ESPN. This is like, I think 2 days after or a day after his mom embarrassed him like that on television, and they're trying to get a scoop on why did she go against the decision, and why is she acted so ratchet with that attitude. In the interview, Landon states that his mom was a big Alabama fan, but she changed her mind all of a sudden for some reason. Landon also had already made his decision his junior year when he came back from his visit. He came back through the Alabama sticker on his wall. So it was like, the narrative that some women were saying is, oh, she was surprised. Like, no, she wasn't. He made a decision, way before. But I guess this is an interview of him talking about, how his mom didn't talk to him for 2 days after the situation happened. I'm going to try to find an article, but I did read where, Landon's mom didn't even want to come to the whole event. She actually showed up late just before, and when she got there, she was trying to, she wanted only family there at first, and then she didn't want Landon's girlfriend there either. She didn't want her on stage, and she's the Becky that was sitting behind him. And the mom didn't want her there because she kind of blamed her for his decision to go into Alabama too. She blamed a lot of different people for his decision instead of respecting his decision. But we're going to listen to this interview with him on ESPN. They rehash the story and go over it again. And they ask him questions about, why your mom acts so damn retarded on national television.
Play for a national championship contender or the other national championship contender. And his decision was such a big deal that he got to go on national TV and tell the world where his mother would be visiting him, Tuscaloosa or Baton Rouge. And that's when Landon Collins learned about another adage: mom knows best.
The #1 safety in the country, Landon Collins, will play his ball where?
It's a tough decision. I got both schools here, but I'm gonna go Roll Tide Road.
Ooh, Alabama. There was not a lot of joy here. And can I ask why?
I feel LSU is a better place for him to be. LSU Tigers, #1. Go Tigers.
So some moms cry, some hug, and apparently some live in the SEC, and opinions are hard to change. Landon Collins is a really good player, #7 overall ESPN 150 class of 2012, the #1 ranked safety, as you heard Dari mention. 6 foot 210 pounder, played outside of New Orleans, all over the secondary during his high school career, so we see some home ties there. Alabama, of course, is losing an All-American safety, though, Mark Barrett. So Collins, if he can change his mom's opinion about this, would slide right in and be a good fit for them. Let's welcome in Landon Collins to SportsCenter here. Why was your mother so adamant that you should go to LSU?
Sir, I couldn't even tell you that. My mom used to be an all-out Bama fan, then all of a sudden it just changed. I can't give you a correct answer. I guess sketches and that she didn't like Nick Saban or something else. I really don't know.
Wait, what happened? If she was a big Alabama fan, why wouldn't she be excited that you're going to Alabama?
I don't know. It's just something changed in a matter of 3 weeks after I told her I decided to go to Alabama.
Have you changed your mind since she said on TV that she thought you should go to LSU?
No, sir. My mind's been set to go to Alabama. Been set for the past 2 years.
And what has been the relationship with your mother been like over the last 24, 48 hours?
We haven't really talked that much. She hasn't talked to me for a little bit. I guess we're going to talk maybe tomorrow or something like that. Hopefully, I don't know what else to say about that.
What about the rest of your friends and family? What have they said about all this?
Keep your head up high. They're getting text messages like crazy. They say keep your head up high. Don't worry about all the mess and that's going on at school or anything like that, because they still always got my best. That's true friends, and I love them to death.
So why are you going against your mother's wishes and going to play for Alabama?
Because, it's my life, and I have to go to school there, and I always told her I don't want to have that on her conscience that if I go to that school and I don't like it, I'm going to blame it on her, so I want to go to the school that I know that I'm going to like and love.
Landon, I assume you'll be watching the game on Monday night. I assume your mother will be watching it as well. Who do you think she'll be rooting for on Monday night?
LSU, probably.
Even though her son is going to Alabama.
7 touchdowns.
Right. Even though I'm going to Alabama, she's still going to be rooting for the opposite team because she still thinks she knows best. And
That's a 70.
You're going to have to prove her wrong. Landon Collins, good luck at Alabama, and good luck getting your mom to become a Tide fan again. Thanks.
Let's listen to Miss April's defense to why she acted ratchet. So just off the top of my head, some of the allegations she made was that Nick Saban, the coach of Alabama, he stereotyped her. She thought that the way he presented himself to her was as if she was some type of groupie mom who wanted, to see her son go to the league. That was one of the things she said that he did, her words versus his. She also accused Nick, the coach, of giving Landon's girlfriend, Becky, a job at the college, which is against the rules. And it turned out that after that was all looked at, it was just I think she had she applied for an internship like every other student or females who try to be assistants in that situation. She also, what else she said? Oh, she claimed that she didn't like the fact that, Nick Saban told her that Landon would be on the field 50-80% of the time. Now, my issue with that whole scenario is that you go to college, man, you might have a position that you dominate in, but they're not building a team around you as a player. Like, it ain't like you're the NFL or the NBA. They build you are an aspect to their team. They already have their program and their defense and the way they run things. They fit you in their program, not the other way around. So I can't understand that narrative because a lot of players I played with were D linemen, got switched to O linemen, cornerbacks got switched to receiver. Dominic Hickson, whatever, he played for the University of Akron. He was a cornerback, and in NFL he's a receiver. So that narrative of, I didn't want them, he won't get to play the time he wanted to play, or the position that they were asking him to play isn't the position that he plays. I don't get that at all. But we're gonna listen to the mom do her thing and give her excuse for her ratchet attitude.
Evening, she appeared to be a mom scorned when Landon Collins put on the Alabama gloves at the Under Armour Bowl, and now she explains why. Sports News' Michael Cobble joins us with more from April Justin. We heard a little bit from her at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, everyone who saw that signing will not forget her reaction. Tonight, we find out why she's so sour on Alabama, and she feels like she's losing her son for a second time. Sports News' Michael Kelly joins us now from the newsroom. A lengthy interview with a rather opinionated mother. Is that right, Michael?
Yeah, Justin and I talked for about an hour, if not more than that. The sense I got from her that she knew this day was coming, that Landon would eventually sign with Alabama. After all, the writing was on the wall literally 2 years ago. Landon Collins put up a Bama poster in his room. Literally 2 years ago, Landon Collins put up a Bama poster in his room.
Nick Saban has a lot of naysayers in the state of Louisiana, and it appears April Justin is one of them.
He's very arrogant. He's not too much hospitality. He's all about football. I'm not about football, so I'm about Landon.
But Justin's view of the Crimson Tide really changed when Saban talked about a change in position.
I questioned him, where do you see Landon to be playing next year? He said as a nickelback. I'm like, a nickelback? Landon will be on the field between 50 to 80% as a true freshman. And I'm thinking to myself, 50 to 80%.
A fear that led Justin to dissuade her son from committing to Alabama.
So I'm like, man, I just can't support that decision because I really, truly think that you're going to get redshirted because this is not your position.
It's not his position, but they didn't pick him for no reason. Now I guess the refute to that is, honestly, there's two things. One, as a school like that, that's that big, that's dominant, of course, I would rather redshirt my first year because generally you have people who are over you who are going to get shined. They're not going to, even if you are a better player, they're not going to let you take somebody's spot if they got people that have been there 5 years. This is not going to happen because you still have your time and your years, and they don't want to risk you to hurt yourself. But in context of this situation, Alabama lost 22 starters that year. 11 of them were on defense. And there was no issue with that situation. Like, they won the championship that year and the next year after that, after Landon's freshman year. But the point is, they needed players regardless. So I don't understand why she would come with that narrative that, oh, he's going to get redshirted, even though, in my opinion, I would rather redshirt my first year. That's 4 years of eligibility. You get to shine, rather than sharing the spot with another player who's already been there 4 years or 3 years. I would rather redshirt my first year so I can dominate my junior and senior year and not have to share time with someone else. But that's just my opinion. That's why I don't get that part of her argument of, well, he's not going to get to play. He'll get to play, and they lost 22 starters that year, I think. So it is what it is.
Bags for Alabama. It won't be the first time he said goodbye to his mom. In 2007, Collins left Justin, his half-brother and half-sister, to move to Geismar to live with his dad and stepmom.
It was hard for me to let Landon go to Dutchtown. He has a little brother that's right behind him that played park ball all his life. For these last 4 years, I had to choose which game mine. You coming to see me or you coming to see me?
Maybe another move is just too much.
If he was at LSU, it'd be the same drive, but it'd be on Saturdays. I could see my son. But now, getting out of park ball on Friday, 11 o'clock, turn around, get a couple of hours of sleep, get on the road 4 hours away.
Justin maintains
A couple of hours of sleep, get on the road 4 hours away.
Justin maintains to this day that Baton Rouge is the better place for her son. But that won't stop her from attending his games in Tuscaloosa.
I'll be wearing pink. And I'll have go land and go, not roll, what is it called?
Roll Tide roll.
It's going to be go land and go.
Alright, so I'm going to read some of the comments from these people who responded to this page. And like I said, you know, half the dudes are on some it's not an issue, but half of them are on point with the narrative that I am of. It was disrespectful, it was wrong. I guess some of them got caught up in the fact that I said her attitude was ratchet. I didn't call her ratchet. I said the attitude, her body language, her disposition, putting her head down, shaking her head. That was just unproductive behavior in a moment where your sons are having their 15 minutes of fame and probably one of the biggest decisions they ever made in their lives. But the first comment says she looks like she's done a great job raising two sons, blue chip talent, and also installed in them the independence to go against her for being a fan of the school. I'm gonna disagree with that. You know, his dad is the one that told Landon's father told him to go with his own instincts. Landon's father told him to make his own decisions, not to follow her, because a lot of people again thought that Landon was going to renege because of, you know, mama. Like, even people at Alabama thought that Landon might change his mind because of, you know, who goes against mama, right? That whole situation.
They had International Signing Day with 27 commitments, 12 of which are on the ESPN Top 150. But when you speak with students on Alabama's campus, there's one guy that everyone's talking about, and that comes with both excitement and some trepidation.
And Landon Collins stealing him out of LSU's backyard, even though his mom really didn't like that, but it works out good for us.
Landon Collins, yeah, and I think he's supposed to be like one of the biggest recruits since Julio. Yeah, I'm really glad we got him.
Just how Landon Collins' mom reacted is just kind of funny. So I don't think when we get another national championship, it's going to be she'll be crying, be tears of joy.
There's always that the nervous pit in my heart about Landon Collins, just because I know where he's from. I know his family history. Kinda. I know that sounds creepy, but I just have this nervous feeling about me that he's going to wake up in the morning and want to please the most members of his family, more importantly, Mama.
I've heard Landon Collins has been living with his dad, not his mom, since he's been in high school, so I'm not really worried about that. So
everybody's worried about Landon Collins, you know, him flipping and all that, but he said so many times that his mom's not going to factor in his decision. He doesn't live with his mom, he lives with his dad, and I don't think it's going to play. He said 2 years ago he loved Alabama, he wanted to commit then, but he wanted to wait it out and enjoy the process. So I think everybody will stay intact.
Collins is considered the #1 safety recruit in the nation, the top prospect of Alabama's recruiting class this year, and now, quite possibly, the most talked about man on campus.